Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. HTM here with a PTS update. We're sitting at week 3, which is the 6.3.2 patch here on Monday. You know, last week there weren't really any significant changes at all. I didn't cover that week. But this week, up to week 3, like I said, the balance changes are coming into full effect now. And especially on the nerf side, I would say, several things getting cut down, whether it's in the new champion point system, item sets, skills, things like that. So I want to make sure you're all up to date on this week 3 patch. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. Version 6.3.2 includes several more adjustments to the updated champion system, some item sets, bug fixes for new dungeons, activates the Anniversary Jubilee event, and they've copied PCEU characters this week. All right, let's talk about buffs first. So, reduced the value of the following buffs to 30% down from 40%. That is major endurance, major fortitude, major intellect. If you don't know what these are basically your potion buffs in most cases. This is stamina recovery. This is health recovery. This is magicka recovery, okay? Now, these were previously buffed from 20% up to 40%. That was in the last patch, the Markarth DLC, which honestly, that really surprised me because that was a huge buff. That affects the entire game, you know, as far as how builds function, how much recovery you could get, because honestly, you could get a lot of recovery in the Markarth DLC, which you still can currently if you're playing on a live server. And then they also reduced the bonus of the minor buffs from 20% down to 15%. So same 3 buffs there. In effect, that's what? 10% down and 5% down. So about 15% overall nerf to your recoveries. Let's go ahead and read the developer comment on this guy. Based on the many changes to the champion point system and overall data we've recovered from the live servers, these recovery buffs were slightly overtuned when paired with recovery bonuses, which is contributing to larger problems with hard-to-take-down builds in PvP and PvE alike. With these adjustments, we want to still reward players who spec for recovery, but with less of a delta between those who find sustain through other means. I mean, I agree that this was a lot of recovery in the Markarth patch. It was kind of surprising to me that they buffed it up that high in the first place. So, okay, I get it. I understand why it's done. How will it affect builds moving forward? I'm not sure. We'll have to do some additional testing on recoveries and see how that affects builds in general. Now, so that covered the buff changes. We're going to talk a lot about champion points now in this section. Week 3 is generally like a larger patch with more changes. So I was assuming they would come back to CP and do some adjustments, and they definitely did. Here's the developer comment here. So in efforts to further reduce the amount of vertical progression in updated CP 2.0, in regards to passive power, we have reduced the maximum number of stages of many stars that do not require slotting to the champion bar. And we've adjusted some outliers to be more in line with our expected results. These adjustments will only affect those who are very high in champion points and will have very little effect on those in the early or middle stages of champion progression. We're focusing on grabbing their slotted stars and unlocking pathways before topping out each node. So reduce the following stars to a maximum of 4 stages rather than 5. Let's talk about what each of these do first, because some of these are brand new. You might not be familiar with them. By the way, on my website, hacktheminotaur.com, I do have each and every new CP node posted there with descriptions, with the stages and how much max stats you can unlock by each of these. Obviously, I'll be updating these later today, but if you just want to get a general sense of what each of the CP nodes can do now, I would recommend you check that out. I'll have a link down in the description below if you want to do that. But let's go ahead and go through these and talk about what this means. So Blessed, this was healing done. Defiance, that decreases your cost of break free. Eldritch Insight, that was max magicka. Elemental Aegis, that's reducing damage from magicka attacks. Hardy, I believe that's physical attacks. Hasty, that increases your movement speed while sprinting. Hero's Vigor increases your max health. Piercing is penetration. Precision, that is critical chance. Preparation, this was damage mitigation. Quick recovery is healing taken. Sprinter reduced the cost of sprint. Tireless discipline, that was max stamina. And tireless guardian reduces the cost of block. So all of these nodes now have a maximum of 4 stages rather than 5. And they don't actually say what this means in terms of the final, like the max value of each of these. So for example, Blessed, this would increase your healing done by 5% at 5 stages. Does this mean it caps out at 4 stages, so it only increases to 4? Or does it mean that it takes 4 stages to get to 5%? I'm assuming it's the first, that Blessed would be like capped at 4%, because otherwise the math would be really messy. You'd get like, what, 1.25% per stage. So that's what I'm assuming, but they don't say for sure here, and the PTS is still down, so I can't log in to check. But basically, it seems like a lot of these nodes just got knocked down 1 stage in terms of their power. Now, they also reduced the following stars to a maximum of 2 stages rather than 5. So these were your chances to apply status effects. Battle Mastery was the martial status effects, like, bleed, poison, disease. Flawless Ritual was the magicka-based status effects, like shield, burning, etc. And these were 30% per stage, you guys. So these were actually very strong passive buffs where you could get essentially 150% bonus chance to apply status effects on top of whatever you already have. Now it sounds like with 2 stages, that's going to be capped at 60% bonus. I know Dragon Knights were looking at these passives, especially for like potentially infinite sustain. So seems like these will be a lot less powerful. And then these got reduced to 3 stages. Savage Defense, that has to do with the cost of bashing, I believe. Tumbling is reducing the cost of roll dodging, so those will be a little bit weaker. Now, the following skills are now slotted rather than passive to better mirror the other specific bonus type mechanics, such as damage done or damage taken. So Focused Mending, Soothing Tide, and Swift Renewal. These are all in the healing side of the blue tree, so you will now have to slot these in order to get the benefits from those specific stars. Bashing Brutality, this passive now has 60 increased damage down from 120, reduces the points per stage down to 10, and reduce the maximum number of stages down to 4. Okay, that's fine. I don't think that's a very popular one. Fortification, this passive is now 2% block mitigation per stage down from 4. Reduce points per stage, so the cost got reduced, and reduced the maximum number of stages to 3. Okay. Haggler. This is in the green CP tree, you guys, which is very utility focused. It has crafting and stealth, like Thieves Guild focused CP nodes. So this star has been replaced with a new star, Gilded Fingers, which increases your gold gained by 2% per stage up to 5 stages at 10 points per stage. Okay. So this gives you 10% increased gold. And it sounds like any time you get gold. So whether it's killing enemies, treasure chests, selling even, I'm assuming. So that's pretty cool. I mean, my problem with the green tree, let's see here. Heckler may return in the future as a potential new star, but it has too many possible exploits right now. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I actually like this change. My issue mainly with the green CP tree is that as a combat focused player, there's not very much that you're gonna actually feel like is worth slotting from the green side of things. Yes, there's movement speed. Yes, you can increase the duration of your consumables a little bit. Those are like the only 2 that's really worth it. And I think only the movement speed needs to be slotted on the champion's bar. So anything they can add here that's gonna be more useful, I am all for it. I think that's a good change. Infamous, fix an issue where this passive did not work as stated. That is supposed to increase the value of your fenced items. Spirit Mastery, this reduces the time to resurrect an ally, I believe, by 33%. It's now slotted, so you need to have this active on your bar. And increase the points required of the star to 50, up from 33. Uh-oh, here. No, here's the movement speed passive I was just talking about. This was the best passive in the green CP system. Reduce the movement speed granted from this passive to 0.4 per stage, down from 1%. This was done to help reduce the delta in speed experiences between players who slot this and those who do not, as out-of-combat movement speed doesn't have a hard set bonus efficiency standard. Okay, I'm not sure I understand the rationale here, but let me tell you what this is going to equal. So this did have 50 points max, so you did have a 50% increase movement speed, which is huge. Remember, that's out of combat. That's not in combat, but it was really, really nice. So 50 times 0.4, that's going to be cut down to 20. So 20% movement speed increase. I mean, it's still better than nothing. I'm still going to use it for sure, but that's a huge nerf on movement speed. A couple more here. Tempered Soul. This passive now grants 5% more resources when you resurrect, down from 10%. So that just increases the total amount of resources a player has back when when you resurrect them. Reduce the points required. Okay, that's whatever. Improve the readability of the links between champion skills. Okay, that's good. So let's talk about champion points in general. It is only week 3, so there still is probably 2 to 3 more weeks where they could make changes in the new system before they roll it out to the live servers. I did do kind of a comprehensive review of the new system and how it works. If you missed that, I'll have a link down in the description. Definitely recommend you check it out. Overall, I am a fan of the new system. I like how they've set it up. I think it's a big improvement over the original CP system. It does add some more variety. And remember too, one of the main purposes of this, which I don't see a lot of people talking about, but it's to increase server performance and in-game stability by having less, basically, calculations going on in the background. Because remember, you can only have 4 champion points slotted for each of the 3 stars, so 12 in total. But is the system perfect? Absolutely not. I think there's a lot that needs to be done still. Like I said, the green tree, if your playtime is focused around combat, dungeons, trials, whatever, there's not going to be a lot for you to get out of that tree. And then on the flip side of that, the blue tree is very overstacked. There's so many good CP stars in the blue tree, and you can only get 4 of them. You can only have 4 active at one time on your character. So I don't know. I think a little bit of balancing still needs to happen in that regard. So hopefully they take this feedback and work on that over the next few weeks. Now that we're even more nerfs when we come and look at some of the item sets here, some very powerful item sets that have kind of flown under the radar, I think, for a while. For example, Deadwater's Guile. This set now only activates on killing blows rather than shared killing blows in order to help reduce the stacking effectiveness it has in large groups. So if you were trying to run this in PvP or, as a tank for large ultimate gen, keep that in mind. That is changing. Celine just fixed an issue with the proc here. Sensuous Bite. This set now procs whenever you dodge an attack and not just when you activate roll dodge. So keep that in mind, especially if you use this for PvP. Though they did increase the duration to 10 seconds, and that's up from 8 seconds. And then under trial sets, the following sets now only proc on slain enemies you've damaged within 2 seconds, down from 5. Their tooltips now properly mentioned. You do not need a killing blow for them. But again, you do have to damage them within 2 seconds. So that's False God, Quick Serpent, Vicious Serpent. So there you go. Lots of changes happening week 3. We had recovery buffs adjusted, many CP changes, and then a couple of item sets got nerfed as well. Make sure you let us know what you think of all these changes down in the comments section below. If you like this video or you found it informative, don't forget to crush that like button. Subscribe for more ESO updates just like this one. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.